Today we are going to start up with a topic that is transportation in humans. So to begin with the topic, let me ask you, what do you understand by transportation? What is transportation? Transferring what?
Blood.
Transportation means transferring something from one place to another. When we are talking about human physiology, when we are talking about human beings, so transportation is a mechanism, a very vital mechanism with the help of which the substances are transported from one place to another place, right? So in our body or in the body of human being, there is a very developed system for the transportation of substances present. And what is the name of this substance? Human circulatory system. How you can define human circulatory system? What is human circulatory system? The system that circulates the blood throughout our body. Why the blood is circulated throughout our body? In order to transfer the absorbed nutrients from one place to another, and also for transferring the respiratory gases. For example, oxygen and carbon dioxide from one place of the body to another place. This is what the function of the which system? Circulatory system. Basically, this human circulatory system is made up of three components. What are the three components, or what are the three parts of the circulatory system? The heart, which is the pumping organ that pumps the blood. So blood is the second component. This blood is circulated throughout our body via closed channels called as blood vessels. As we have already discussed in our previous classes, that blood vessels are of three types. So what are the three types of blood vessels we have? Arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries helps in transporting the oxygenated blood from the heart to different parts of the body. Veins helps in transporting deoxygenated blood from different body parts towards the heart, and capillaries act as a junction, a connection between arteries and veins. So today we are going to discuss about majorly the structure of human heart and how the blood is circulated through human heart. So as we all know that human heart is a very delicate and a very important and a very vital organ, right? And every vital organ is always covered with what? Some of the other type of protective membrane. So a two-layer protective membrane surrounds the heart. And what is the name of this two-layered membrane? Tell me fast. In the previous classes we have discussed. So it is known as pericardial membrane. What do we call it? Pericardium. The outer layer of the wall, in fact, is called as pericardium. Basically, our heart is divided into three layers. The outermost layer is known as pericardium. The inner layer is known as myocardium, and the innermost layer is known as endocardium. Right? So heart is protected by a protective membrane, two-layer protective membrane known as pericardium. And this two-layered pericardium membrane is circulated by a fluid. And what is the name of this fluid? Pericardial fluid. Now tell me quickly, what is the function of pericardial membrane or pericardial fluid? Since it is a protective membrane, so what is the function? To protect the heart from
outside shocks and injury.
yes, external shocks or any mechanical shocks and injury. This is what the function. So we will quickly move on to the structure of human heart with the help of the video here.
In human beings, the circulatory system includes the heart and the blood vessels, or arteries, veins, and capillaries. The heart pumps oxygenated blood to all parts of the body and deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The heart has four chambers: the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle.
If we see the cross section of human heart, so human heart has been divided into how many chambers? Four chambers. The upper two chambers are called as what? Atrium, or it is often referred to as auricles. So atriums or auricles are considered to be the blood receiving chamber. These are the chamber that receives the blood, whereas the lower two chambers are called as ventricles. These are known as the blood pumping chamber. Why? Because every time they pump the blood out from the heart. Further, each other by means of valves present in between it. So the right portion of the heart is completely separated from the left portion of a heart by means of a dividing wall called as septum, right? And further the heart is divided into right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. The right portion of the heart deals with deoxygenated blood and the left portion of the heart deals with the oxygenated blood. Blood is pumped simultaneously from both the atriums, that is from the right atrium and the left atrium towards the left ventricle and the right ventricle. The pumping of blood takes place simultaneously. The only difference is that deoxygenated blood is pumped from right atrium towards the right ventricle and oxygenated blood gets pumped from the left atrium towards the left ventricle, right? So we will see the video.
Each of these chambers contract so that blood moves from one chamber to the next. Deoxygenated blood from the body flows into the right atrium through the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava.
Now, since we have discussed that deoxygenated blood from different body parts is poured into the heart, into which portion or which chamber of the heart it is poured? Into the right portion of the heart. As we have discussed, that right portion is the portion that collects the deoxygenated blood. So we know that which blood vessels carries the deoxygenated blood? It is the veins. It is the veins, right? So veins carry the deoxygenated blood. So all the veins of our body opens into a common opening or a major vein. What is that major vein called as? Vena cava. What do we call it? Vena cava. So we have two vena cava, two major veins, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Both of the vena cavas opens into which portion of the heart? Into the right atrium, right? So what is the function of superior vena cava? Superior vena cava collects the deoxygenated blood from the upper body part. What are the upper body parts? Particularly the nervous system, and drains it into the right atrium. Whereas the lower vena cava or the inferior vena cava collects the deoxygenated blood from the lower body part and drains it into the right atrium. Am I clear? Yes. So let us watch the video again.
From here, the blood flows into the right ventricle, which then pumps it into the lungs via the pulmonary artery.
Coming to pulmonary artery. What is pulmonary artery now?
Related to lung.
Just now in the video we have seen that blood, the deoxygenated blood collected by inferior vena cava and superior vena cava into the right atrium. From the right atrium the blood is pumped into right ventricle, and from the right ventricle this deoxygenated blood is pumped out via an opening, and that is called as what? Pulmonary artery. Now we have discussed that what are arteries basically? Arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygenated blood. But pulmonary arteries carry which blood? Deoxygenated blood. Then why are we calling this blood vessel that is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs for its oxygenation as artery? We would have called it pulmonary vein also, no? So why are we calling it as pulmonary artery? There is a reason behind that. The second function of artery we have discussed, that arteries are those that carries the blood always from the heart to different body organ. Here the deoxygenated blood is carried from the heart to different body organ, and what is the different body organ is? Lungs. So since this blood vessel is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the heart towards the lungs for its oxygenation, we are calling this blood vessel as pulmonary artery and not the pulmonary vein. So always remember this thing, that what is pulmonary artery? It is a type of blood vessel that carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to lungs for its oxygenation, and it is the only artery that functions opposites to its nature. Am I clear? So now the blood from the right ventricle is pumped out via pulmonary artery towards the lung for its oxygenation. Now what will happen?
The lungs oxygenate the blood, which then flows into the left atrium of the heart via the pulmonary veins.
Again, oxygenated blood and drains this oxygenated blood into the left atrium, right? Now from the left atrium, the oxygenated blood will be poured into the left ventricle. Is clear to you up till here?
The left atrium contracts and the blood enters the left ventricle. The left ventricle is the most muscular chamber of the heart, as it must pump blood to all parts of the body. When the left ventricle contracts, it pumps the oxygenated blood to the body via the aorta.
Now, once the auricle or the atrium contracts, which atrium? The left atrium, the oxygenated blood from the left atrium is pumped into the left ventricle, right? And once the blood is pumped into the ventricle, both the ventricles, the right ventricle and the left ventricle will contract simultaneously and the blood is pumped out from our heart. The oxygenated blood from the left ventricle is pumped out through an opening called as aorta. What do we call this opening as? Aorta. So aorta is a major artery, a bigger artery to which all the other arteries and arterioles are connected, and this major artery transport the oxygenated blood to each and every part of our body, right? Further, we have to see here that every time when we are discussing that right chamber is separated from the left chamber, so what do they have? How are they separated? So if you see here, the right atrium is separated from the right ventricle by means of a dividing valve. There is a valve present between right atrium and right ventricle. And what is the name of this valve that separates right atrium from right ventricle? That is tricuspid valve. What is the name of this valve? Tricuspid. Three-layer, three-leaf-like structures. So that is why the name given to it as tricuspid valve. So what is the function of this valves basically? So that the valves ensure the unidirectional flow of blood. The blood may not backflow or return back from the ventricles towards the atrium. To ensure this, the chambers of the heart are provided with valves everywhere. So the right atrium is separated by right ventricle by means of tricuspid valve. In the same way, the left atrium is also separated by left ventricle by means of one more valve. And what is the name of this valve? Bicuspid valve. There is one more name to this valve called as the mitral valve. What do we call it? Mitral valve. The tricuspid valve is often referred to as atrioventricular valve. What do we call it? Atrioventricular valve. And the function of these valves is just to prevent the backflow of blood. Now, the heart not only contains these two valves, there are two more valves that is present in the heart. So there is one more valve that is located between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, right? So the valve that is present between the pulmonary artery and the right ventricle is known as pulmonary valve. What do we call this valve as? Pulmonary valve. And what is the function of pulmonary valve? It prevents the backflow of blood once the blood is pumped from the right ventricle towards the pulmonary artery. The blood in no case returns back, right? In the same way, there is one more valve present between the opening of left ventricle and the aorta, and this valve is known as aortic valve. What do we call it? Aortic valve. The valve that separates the opening of left ventricle and the aorta is known as aortic valve. Am I clear? So let us watch the video again. So there is a do you know question for you that the pulmonary artery is the only artery in the body that carries
But
the
now that you have seen how blood circulates, you must be wondering how the heart regulates the flow of blood. Let's check this out. The heart has four valves that prevent backflow of blood within the heart. The tricuspid valve allows blood to flow only from the right atrium into the right ventricle. The flow of blood from the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery is controlled by the pulmonary valve. The mitral valve, also known as the bicuspid valve, allows blood to flow from the left atrium into the left ventricle. Finally, the aortic valve controls the flow of blood into the aorta from the left ventricle. Let's try a small activity.
There is a small
Trace the
activity
sequence
for
of
you.
blood flow through the heart by placing the numbers in the correct slots. Start with the flow of deoxygenated blood from the body into the heart.
In this small activity, what we have to do, we have to trace the flow of blood from one of the chamber to the heart to the next chamber of the heart. So what will be the numbering? Can you tell? First of all, the blood will be transported from which chamber? First from the atrium. From the atrium, the blood will be transferred to which portion? Towards the ventricle. So number 2 will be? Is it correct? Then after this, the third one will be, this is via tricuspid valve, the blood is entering. From the right atrium, the blood via the tricuspid valve enters into which portion? This is which portion? The right ventricle. After that, which is the fourth labeling over here. Now from the right ventricle, the blood is pumped out through what is this called as? Pulmonary artery. So number 4 will be pulmonary artery. Now see, after pulmonary artery, what will happen? The blood will again return back to, after oxygenation, pulmonary artery will carry the blood to lungs. Lungs oxygenate the blood, then the blood again return back to the heart via which? Pulmonary vein, right? And then this one is the pulmonary vein. Now pulmonary vein is draining the blood into right. This is right atrium or left atrium? Left atrium. Now from the left atrium, the blood is poured into the left ventricle via which part is this? Mitral valve or the bicuspid valve. And then through this, the blood will enter into left ventricle. All these labelings are correct. Blood is flowing in the proper way. Then after this, tell me about 10th and 11th. Which will be labeled as 10th and which will be the 11th one? After ventricle, the blood will be poured into which is this valve? Aortic valve. So number 10 will be aortic valve, which is this one. And after that, through the aortic valve, the oxygenated blood is pumped out through aorta.
Wonderful. Now click the play animation button to see the flow of blood through the heart.
So now with the help of this animation, we will see how blood is flowing. So see, the deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium via inferior vena cava and superior vena cava. Then the blood passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, the blood passes through pulmonary valve into the pulmonary via pulmonary artery towards the lungs for its oxygenation. Once the blood gets oxygenated blood enters the heart through pulmonary vein again. After that, blood enters into the left atrium. From the left atrium, the blood passes into the left ventricle via mitral valve. And then blood enters the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, the blood passes out via aortic valve into aorta. What is aorta? Tell me. The major artery through which the oxygenated blood is transported to each and every part of our body. And this is how the blood is circulated, right? So we will see a small video now.
Human heart. The heart is located in the center of the chest, between the lungs, slightly to the left. The heart is a hollow muscular organ made of strong cardiac muscles. It pumps the blood.
Here I just wanted to ask that what do you mean by cardiac muscles? What are cardiac muscles? What are cardiac muscles in your lower classes in class 9 you have studied about muscularity? Cardiac muscles are what type of muscles? Devansh? They are voluntary or involuntary? Cardiac muscles are involuntary muscles. What do you mean by involuntary muscles? The muscles which do not work according to our will and which functions continuously
circulatory system with great force. The heart is enclosed in a double-walled sac called pericardium. The outer wall of the human heart is composed of 3 layers: the outer endocardium, the middle myocardium,
And the inner
and the inner endocardium.
endocardium.
The human heart has 4 chambers. The upper, smaller chambers
Now,
are
whatever we have
called
discussed,
ventricles or
everything
atria.
is explained
The
over
lower, larger and muscular chambers are called ventricles. A thick-walled muscle called the septum separates the right
What
side
is the
and
function of
left side of
septum
the
here
heart.
basically? Septum separates the right portion of the heart from the left portion and thereby ensures that the oxygenated blood will not get mixed with the deoxygenated blood, and therefore human heart is considered to be the one of the most developed type of heart, because in human heart at no point the oxygenated blood mixes with the deoxygenated blood, and such a type of circulatory system provides efficient supply of oxygen to each and every cell, which helps in producing enormous amount of energy in our body. Yes.
There are 4 valves in the heart. The tricuspid valve or right atrioventricular valve is between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The mitral valve, also known as the bicuspid valve or
Where is the
left
mitral valve
atrioventricular
located?
valve, is between the left atrium and the
Left
left
atrium
ventricle.
and left ventricle.
These 2 valves are attached to the chordae tendineae,
Yes.
which anchor the valves to
There is one more thing, chordae tendineae. So what are chordae tendineae? These are known as heart strings of the heart, and their function is to keep the tricuspid bicuspid valve in their place. This is what their function. So chordae tendineae are often referred to as the heart strings. Am I clear to everyone?
the
Yes.
pulmonary muscles in the ventricles. There are 2 semilunar valves present, one in the beginning of the aorta and one in the pulmonary vein. Auricles have thinner walls than the ventricles. The left ventricle has thicker walls than the right ventricle.
Can anyone tell me the reason that why auricles have thinner wall as compared to that of ventricles? Further, even the left ventricle is having more thicker wall as compared to that of the right ventricle. What is the reason behind? Because in order to bear the pressure, because ventricles are every time pumping the blood out from the heart. So to bear that pressure, the ventricles are always provided with thicker valves. Am I
The right
clear?
atrium collects deoxygenated blood from the body via superior and inferior vena cava and sends it into the right ventricle. The right ventricle pumps it to the lungs. The left atrium collects oxygenated blood from the lungs and sends it to the body via the aorta through the left ventricle. Cardiac cycle.
So students, all these valves, what are the 4 types of